Okay, you guys, so happy Tuesday, providing that it's a Tuesday where you guys are. We have good news as it relates to the state of economical affairs as to where the world is concerned. So the good news is the Strait of Hormuz, it is open. But the bad news is it is open to every country with the exception of the United States and Israel. That is correct. You're hearing correct. The Strait of Hormuz, it is open once again. So, man, I was nervous. And when I tell you I was nervous because if the Strait of Hormuz had remained closed, you guys know that there would be a oil crisis. And once there's an oil crisis, what else do we know is going to happen? The cost of living would have drastically increased, and already it is increasing, and it is so hard for many people to survive at this point in time. And you guys know that with this war that is going on, you know that it is affecting every single country. Can you imagine a country that is not involved, but irrespective of the fact that these countries are not involved, they are being economically affected, whether through tourism, whether through import, export. Everyone is being affected. Like there's a slow movement of tourism across the globe because of this war. And like normally, the events that normally take place annually at this time of the year, the events are being cancelled, postponed for the most part. So you know that this war, it is costing countries and their allies. It's costing America. It is costing the American taxpayer. And you guys know that with the mass ICE raid and the mass deportation that is going on, what do you guys know? You guys know that the income that America used to get, like the money that they used to earn off taxpayers, that has significantly been reduced, because even though they have been cutting back expenses here and there, and they've been laying off people here and there, you know that with the mass, deportation policy that is going on, the country, capita, it's not looking good. So what is to be expected next? It means that a massive layoff is coming you guys' way. A massive layoff is coming for America. And if a massive layoff is coming for America, it's gonna be a domino effect. It's gonna have this ripple effect, and it's gonna affect every other country, because whether we want to realize, acknowledge this and, be cognizant of it, because oftentimes so many of us, we look at two countries that are having current state of affairs, and we say, oh, that's just happening in America and Israel, but it's going to affect every other country. You see the Caribbean getting hit with hurricanes, and you say, oh, it's just the Caribbean, but it's going to cause a ripple effect. Now, some of these effects can be on a micro level, as well as it can be on a massive level. But with this war, it is not going to be micro. Honey, it is definitely not going to be on a micro level. No. I don't know if Iran has changed their agreement as it pertains to the oil that is passing through the Strait of Hormuz, because initially they were saying they're going to allow ships to pass with certain terms and condition, and the terms and condition was that they had to trade in US dollars, right? So now that everyone can pass through, with the exception of Israel and the United States, until there are conditional terms from America and the United States, as per Iran. I don't know if the trading has to be conducted in yen or US dollars. Initially they said it's won. I think it is pronounced won, but it wasn't US dollars, right? So, honey, we are gonna feel this, and America is going to feel it. So for my fellow Americans, I would say to you guys to brace yourselves for what is coming, because this war is costing you guys billions of dollars per day, billions of dollars. And this war, it's going to expand. There's so many people already predicting that there's going to be a war in the Caribbean waters. Can you imagine the Caribbean, the most peaceful place on planet Earth? The Caribbean that doesn't involve in war, but because Trump has his eyes on Cuba. Because yes, I watched a press briefing most recently where he's saying that Cuba is a beautiful island. It is so beautiful there, and the geography, location, and he's saying that. Guess what Trump said? And I kid you absolutely not. This was on CBS News and every other news outlet. He says that Cuba is out of the hurricane zone. Yes, that's what Donald Trump said. He said Cuba is out of the hurricane zone. I was like, what? Did Cuba got hit with Hurricane Melissa after Jamaica? Because, honey, if Hurricane Melissa had hit Cuba first, even though Jamaica was completely decimated, the west and the northwest end of the island, it was complete decimation. If that had hit Cuba, the casualty would have been far greater, because you guys know that Cuba has been under economical pressure from all the sanctions, right? So Cuba was fortunate that they got the hurricane after it left Jamaica, because if it did the west and the northwest end of the island like that, just imagine what it would have done to Cuba. So Trump is saying that Cuba he's gonna go for Cuba, right? So, this is not good, people. This is not good. And this man is saying on national TV that Cuba is outside of the hurricane zones. So I'm like, oh, good news, Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean, because if Cuba is outside of the hurricane zone, it means that so too is Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. So according to Donald Trump, we're not going to get any more hurricanes it's like all this time. I'm going to be pretty honest with you guys. All this time, I've been watching a lot of interviews, and I'm watching a lot of people who are close affiliate with Donald Trump saying that this is not the Donald Trump that they know, right? And I've never taken it serious, and I've been saying, maybe it's because they disagree with his geopolitical views. But honey, when I realized that these people were right, when Trump says that Cuba is outside of the hurricane zone. Huh? Cuba? Jamaica's neighbor, Lesser Antilles, Greater Antilles, Caribbean, like tropics and the subtropics. What is the tropics and the subtropics prone to? Hurricane, typhoons. They're all the same thing, but it's just that in the tropics, they're called hurricane, and the subtropics, they're called typhoon, and elsewhere, they're called something else, right? So when Trump said that, I'm like, okay, it's not clicking. It's not clicking. It's tropical. Cuba is tropical. Cuba is tropical. What happens in tropical places? Hurricane. Cuba is tropical. Florida, subtropics. What happens in Florida? Hurricane. Oh my God. What is going on? Guys, also too, I am convinced at this point that Bibi Netanyahu is gone. Do you guys remember that video that I said I saw of Bibi Netanyahu walking around with Israel, mingling with the people? So the AI experts, they've dived in on that one, and Bibi Netanyahu ring has disappeared in that video as well, just like that Kate Middleton video. And I saw a post this morning from some close ally of his saying that he'll be remembered as one of the greatest leaders of all time. So I'm convinced at this point that So guys, yes, AI experts, they're on the tail of these videos and they're showing you that Bibi Netanyahu ring has disappeared in the last video. There's also another conspiracy theory surrounding that, wherein critics believe that Bibi Netanyahu is running away from being held accountable for war crimes, and as such, they're faking his death. You know, there's so many allegations surrounding that, so who knows what is going on at this point. But I believe time will be the master of all revelations, and I believe that there has to be a change. Something is going to happen that is going to affect that change. But Trump saying that he wants to take over Cuba, oh my God. And, you know, the way in which he's talking about Cuba, like, this is so sinister. It is so sinister. Like, how do you want to take over? You have your country and you want to go into someone else's country and take over their country? You did it to Venezuela and you want to do it to Cuba. And if he did it to Venezuela and he wants to do it to Cuba, he wants to do it to Greenland. And if he gets through, he's going to consistently consider, be on this quest to take over these smaller countries, these smaller nations. And then we're going to have history repeating itself all over again. Oh my God. But there has to be a way out of all of this. There has to be a resolution. There has to be an answer to all of this. And I know at this point in time, things in Cuba, citizens are protesting because there's a complete grid lockdown. There's no electricity whatsoever. There's a complete grid lockdown. No one has power. And the citizens were protesting in the street. Some of them got arrested. Where did that word arrested come from? Oh my God. But guys, can you imagine? Like so many young adults, they're not gonna have a good experience, like ruining things for so many people, especially the less fortunate. There's no care, there's no regard, there's no concern. It's just people being greedy. It's just people being evil. Just people cannot have enough. It's not enough. Our ego has to be satisfied and we have to go down we have to be the greatest and we have to be the biggest, baddest bully. It is definitely so horrible to experience what is happening. So many youths, their youth have been taken away from them. And, you know, as I've always said, I think that at this point, the only thing that we can do is to come together and pray, because what else can we do without mass casualties? What else can we do without mass casualties? Pray. But that's all I have to share in this video with you guys. Let me know what y'all think, and we're going to talk some more in the comment section. Peace.